episode 493 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. On this Friday night, I'll be talking about tonight's episodes of first WWE Smackdown with the return of the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. Also, tonight's episode of AEW Rampage, which had a main event for the AEW TBS Women's Championship. Chris Statlander versus Jade Cargill, right here, right now. 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hey, Wrestling Fanatics. Welcome to tonight's brand new episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, episode 493. I am your host, Lance Brock. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. As I said in that little opening preview there at the top of the podcast, I will be talking all about tonight's WWE Friday Night Smackdown and AEW Rampage. Let's start it off, though, in order. First tonight, we had WWE Friday Night Smackdown on Fox. And tonight's Smackdown was live from Denver, Colorado. And our commentators tonight, Kevin Patrick, Michael Cole, and Corey Graves. I have to admit, at the beginning of tonight's SmackDown, to start things off, I was a little disappointed because, unfortunately, at this time, we see the return to WWE and SmackDown of Pat McAfee. Unfortunately, as I look here, I don't have a booing sound effect, or I would probably play that right now. But I'm gonna break my rule here now and be a little negative. Was definitely not happy about this. I usually try not to be too negative, but Pat McAfee is just terrible. Luckily, he was only in this and one backstage segment. Luckily, he did not do commentary tonight. And like I said, to break my rule once real quick here and be a little negative, to me, Pat McAfee, it's the go away heat, where when he comes on your TV screen, you just want him to go away, and because he's just that bad. To me, when he was on commentary, it sounded like he was just trying to get himself over instead of the wrestlers in the ring, which is what a commentator is supposed to do. Get the wrestlers in the ring over, not yourself, you idiot. Sorry for Sorry for using the I word there, but it just seems like when he was on commentary, all he was doing was yelling and doing all that silly stuff just so he can get over, and didn't care if the wrestlers in the ring were getting over or not. He tried to steal the spotlight from Nakamura, from Sheamus, other guys, just to get the attention on him, just because I guess he was some football player that played in the NFL, and now he's got this radio show that I guess some people listen to. I don't even know what it's called. I watched a video of it when Vince McMahon was on, but that was the only reason. But sorry for breaking the rule here and being negative, but then we get something better now, luckily. Austin Theory, A-Town Down, comes out, which would have been better if we seen Austin Theory instead of Pat McAfee. And at least he actually is a real pro wrestler and doesn't just go on commentary. And I was going to say, he's supposed to be like that, though. He's the heel. He's just not some idiot radio host like Pat McAfee. Again, sorry. But, okay, Austin Theory is out. And then something even better happens, luckily. We see the return of someone to WWE, to the show that is named after him. And I saw a report online that he was going to be in Denver, but I didn't really think much of it at the time. And it turned out to be true, because the next thing we hear is, if you smell what The Rock is cooking, and The Rock comes out to a huge pop in front of the Denver crowd. He comes out, cuts a promo on Austin Theory to show that he still got it on the mic. And to the credit of Austin Theory, I thought he actually did pretty good in there with The Rock on the mic, and like they would say, one-on-one with the great one. Big fan of Austin Theory. I know I say this a lot on the podcast and stuff about how I watched this wrestler back when he was still on the indies, but I remember watching Austin Theory. The first I've seen him anyway was when he was with Evolve, and I remember watching those pay-per-views, being a fan of his work at the time. Young cocky heel. Thought he was a really good worker at the time, not just in the ring, but on the mic too. And then Austin Theory ends up nailing The Rock with some punches, and then The Rock hits him with the spine buster, the spine on the pine, and then hits the most electrifying move in sports entertainment today, the people's elbow. That was the huge opening segment on tonight's WWE Friday Night Smackdown on Fox. I just want to say Austin Theory was great. The Rock was great. The segment, other than Pat McAfee being there, was great. Definitely, if it wasn't for Pat McAfee ruining it, I would definitely give this first opening segment an A+. But I'm going to have to take the plus off and give it just an A, since unfortunately Pat McAfee was there. But if you would have had Austin Theory just come out, cut a heel promo on Denver about how he represents A-Town, Atlanta, and then have The Rock come out, and then have those two alone in the ring with that promo, and have it ending with The Rock hitting a people's elbow on Austin Theory, that would have been great. They should have just done that. Forget Pat McAfee. That would have been a much better segment. But unfortunately, he was there tonight for some reason. And then this huge SmackDown continues. Well, the first opening segment anyway. It continues. The phenomenal AJ Styles with Finn Balor go one-on-one. Always a fan of seeing these two go at it. Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio are with Finn Balor, but Carl Anderson and Michin Mia Yim are not with AJ Styles, and Michael Cole notes on commentary that Luke Gallows is out with an injury, and also Rhea Ripley is not there with Finn Balor after being attacked by Nia Jax on Raw last Monday. And Jimmy Uso gets involved from the crowd, and Balor gets the win here with a crucifix pin, defeating AJ Styles. I thought this was a good match. Definitely not the best AJ Styles and Finn Balor / Prince Devitt match I have ever seen, but still pretty good. I'll give it 3 out of 5 ring bells. Could have been better, of course, but not bad. And then we go backstage. The People's Champion, The Rock, and that goofball Pat McAfee are back there. And then they see John Cena in the back, and they end up hugging. Cena says, "Welcome home," which again, I know I probably sound like a broken record tonight, but if you would have just had The Rock, have Caleb Braxton interview him, have anybody interview him, would have been better. Or just have him back there with himself, just alone. And then he sees John Cena in the back. It would have been better. No need for McAfee on SmackDown at all tonight. Or in WWE at all. There's just no need for him. He's terrible. I know I'm breaking my rule about being negative again, but can we get a petition online to get Pat McAfee out of WWE or any wrestling company? I don't know why anybody would want him, but... And then we see Jimmy Uso and Finn Balor, and he talks about seeing Jimmy's brother Jay on Raw Monday. and he proposed that both of the Usos should join the Judgment Day. And he said the good thing about the Judgment Day is they don't have a leader, also known as Roman Reigns. And in the background, while this is going on, we see Paul Heyman hiding behind some of the equipment trucks. And then we have the LWO in the ring. We hear from WWE United States Champion Rey Mysterio. Says that the LWO is his real family. Then Santos Escobar gets the mic. He then says that he is happy that Mysterio took the match against Austin Theory that he was supposed to have for that United States title. But then he wasn't able to compete, so Ray took the match and won the title. And then he asks Ray for a United States Championship match. Mysterio gets the mic, and then at first Ray kind of teases a little bit, acts like he's kind of upset, but then he does accept, and then we hear the theme music for the almighty Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits make their way out. And they said they are taking over. They say it's going to be easier than imagined. And Joaquin Phoenix, not the actor that played Johnny Cash in Walk the Line, but Joaquin Wilde, I meant to say, and Cruz del Toro get on the mic, and they challenge him to a match. And then when we come back, there's a match with them, the LWO and the Street Profits, already in progress. And the Street Profits get the win with the Revelation. Not too much here. The Street Profits getting the win. Not a bad match though. And after the match, there is a post-match attack. Next up, we have the A-lister, The Miz, taking on LA Knight. Yeah, I think I might add that. Every time I talk about LA Knight. I probably shouldn't, though. And LA Knight gets the win with the BFT, defeating The Miz. And then he gets on the mic after the match, says he's coming for gold, and it doesn't matter if it's Rey Mysterio, Gunther, Seth freaking Rollins, or Roman Reigns. He says, it isn't just a catchphrase, I'm easily top 2, and I'm not number 2. And then we see Solo Sikoa and the wise man Paul Heyman in the back. And Pretty Deadly is in the back with Adam Pearce. Looks like they're coming back soon. And we have Damage Control. And Bayley's telling Dakota Kai that Io Sky has to be Asuka next week. And Asuka gets the win over Bayley. Shotzi Blackheart gets involved. And then for the final segment of this week's Friday Night Smackdown, the Grayson Waller effect with special guest John Cena. And I have to admit, I've said this before already, that Grayson Waller is another one that I'm just not really feeling all that much, and just doesn't really do much for me. I kind of feel if this was like a Miz TV, this probably would have been more entertaining, especially since that just a couple weeks or so ago, The Miz had that great Miz TV segment where he had the invisible John Cena that you can't see on. That was so great. Grayson Waller, though, is definitely no Miz. Not at all. And talks about Cena being at Payback. And then we see Jimmy Uso get involved. And then Solo Sikoa and Paul Heyman. And then first, Solo goes after Jimmy. Looks like he's going to give him the Samoan spike. And then he focuses his attention on Cena. And then the phenomenal AJ Styles comes down to make the save for Cena. Cena hits the 5-knuckle shuffle as the show goes off the air with John Cena and AJ Styles standing tall. So that was tonight's episode of WWE Friday Night Smackdown on Fox. I thought it was an alright Smackdown. I wouldn't say it was anything real good or that spectacular. Definitely not a can't miss episode or anything, but still check it out though, just because it is an episode of SmackDown and you shouldn't miss any pro wrestling shows. Again, the highlight of the night, The Rock showing up at the beginning. I recommend that maybe you skip a little bit into it until The Rock's entrance, so you skip all that nonsense with Pat McAfee. Or maybe you could start when Austin Theory comes out, because at least that would actually be entertaining, unlike McAfee. So just start when Austin Theory comes out, enjoy Austin Theory and his promo, and then The Rock. And the rest of the show was just kind of there, just kind of alright. So overall, as a whole show, I'll give tonight's SmackDown 7.5 out of 10 ring bells. I wouldn't say there's anything real terrible though, but that's not that great. And now we go over onto TNT for AEW Rampage. And tonight's episode of Rampage was taped on Wednesday night in Cincinnati, Ohio, at the Heritage Bank Center, right after last Wednesday night's episode of Dynamite. Our commentators tonight are Tony Schiavone, Excalibur, and Chris Jericho. our opening match on Rampage tonight, the Lucha Brothers, Phoenix and Penta El Zero Miedo, teaming with the Hardys, Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy, to take on Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, the Butcher, and the Blade in an 8-man tag team match. Pretty good match here. We see the Lucha Bros and the Hardys get the win. I'll give this one 3 out of 5 ring bells. Next up, we have tag team action. The Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels, and Matt Sydal take on the team of the Kingdom, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven, with Maria Kanellis in their corner. Pretty good tag team match here. The Kingdom get the win. I'll give this one also 3 out of 5 ring bells. I want to say that definitely not a perfect wrestling match, but definitely not bad either. And now we see the AEW Trios champions, the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn, as they defeat Pretty Peter Avalon and the Outrunners. And by the way, the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn Pink Trios Championships with the scissor straps are now available at shopaew.com. I don't have it up right now, but there's a limited amount available. And just 1 second. Gonna check this out now. And right now, originally though, there were 10 available, but I just went to shopaew.com right now, and as of right now, there are only 6 left. So if you want to order the replica Trios Championships, there are 6 left, but if you do want to buy this, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. $4,999. Don't get me wrong. I think that would be awesome to have, but I definitely cannot afford that price. Definitely not the richest pro wrestling podcaster in the world. Unless somebody listening right now to 360 Wrestling Fanatic wants to go to shopaew.com right now and buy it for me as a nice present for your favorite podcast host. Just kidding. I know I'm not anybody's favorite podcast host, but it would be nice though. And then we have the Dark Order make their way out to the stage, and they challenge the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn to a match for the Trios Championships tomorrow night on Saturday. Well, actually, I take that back. First, they challenge any one member of the Acclaimed or Billy Gunn to a singles match, and if they beat them, then they will get a shot at the Trios Championships. And at first, they're going to do rock, paper, scissors. They do it about 3 times, and it's scissors each time. And then finally, Anthony Bowens says he will accept the match. And that match will take place tomorrow night on Saturday Collision. We don't know. Either John Silver, Alex Reynolds, or Evil Uno, who will be representing the Dark Order. But if the Dark Order representative wins, then they will get a shot at the AEW Trios Championships. That might take place at Wrestle Dream. I would say that could be a possibility. October 1st on pay-per-view. And our main event on Rampage tonight, we have the video package, and then we see Mark Henry, and like he normally says, well, it looks like there's been enough talk. It's time for the main event for the AEW TBS Championship. Chris Statlander defending against Jade Cargill. And I know there's been talk as of late online about maybe Jade Cargill leaving AEW when her contract is up and possibly jumping ship over to WWE. Who knows if that will happen or not? Let's just wait and see. But this match, Statlander and Cargill, I thought was a really good, entertaining main event. I really enjoyed this match. It was hard hitting, had a lot of exciting action, and really good main event. And we see Chris Statlander defeat Jade Cargill to retain the TBS Championship. And then after the match, Jade Cargill showing some sportsmanship and some love to Chris Statlander. They hug, and wasn't quite expecting that. So I'm not saying for sure I believe that it is going to happen, but with the finish of this match, and then Jade hugging Chris Statlander, showing her respect like that, could kind of look like that she could be on her way out maybe soon of AEW. Like I said, don't know that for sure though, so don't want to say really too much. I think she's going to WWE right away until something has officially been announced. But once again though, really good main event, and I will give this one 4 out of 5 ring bells. I was a big fan of this main event, and that was tonight's episode of AEW Rampage. I'd say maybe maybe about the same as SmackDown. I would say might have enjoyed it about the same, I should say, because I know The Rock coming back, that was my favorite part. The wrestling, though, I wouldn't say it was anything real spectacular. And then on Rampage, we had that great main event between Chris Statlander and Jade Cargill that I enjoyed a lot. So I'll give Rampage as a show altogether probably 7.5 out of 10 ring bells as well, just like I did SmackDown tonight. And today there has been a bunch of WWE cuts. No wrestlers just yet, or at least not that I have seen anyway. Mostly front office and things like that. I hear that they have fired Dana Warrior, of course. Dana is the wife of WWE Hall of Famer, the Ultimate Warrior. I think she mostly does a lot with the WWE charity stuff. And speaking of charities that WWE do, September, still Patriotic Cancer Month, that's still going on. So go to WWEshop.com right now. I know they haven't put out a new Connor's Cure shirt for this year yet, but they do have the one from last year still. So if you didn't buy that last year, you can get it now. Help out a great cause like Connor's Cure. Also, they have 2 bracelets, the regular, like, different color one like they usually have, and they also have a snap bracelet this year that's new, and a Connor's Cure pin. So once again, help out Connor's Cure, support a great cause. Go to WWEshop.com, order this shirt or one of the bracelets, or order one of each thing, and really help a good cause. Also, some other news next month, AEW Saturday Collision will be in Memphis, Tennessee, and there will be an appearance by legendary Memphis wrestling commentator Dave Brown. This won't be Dave Brown's first appearance in AEW. Remember about a couple years or so ago when AEW was in Memphis, he did make an appearance, and I want to say he might have even called a match on Dark, was one of the commentators for it. And I always liked Dave Brown. I remember growing up here on the weekends in Michigan on WADL TV 38. They used to air USWA from Memphis, and he was always one of the commentators on the show with legendary Lance Russell, and there was another guy he also did commentary with. I want to say his first name is Corey, but I don't remember his first name. But I used to watch USWA, I want to say every Saturday afternoon at 2 p.m. It would be here in Michigan on WADL TV 38. I'm sure if you're a wrestling fan like me that grew up here in Michigan, you probably watched Channel 38 here, USWA on Saturdays, and Jim Cornette's Smoky Mountain Wrestling promotion on Sundays. And then also during the week, they had WWF, their syndicated shows, Metal, Jacked, Superstars, Challenge, Shotgun Saturday Night, and also they had WCW Worldwide at one time. Also, they even had ECW Hardcore TV at one time, even though that was usually aired around 2 a.m. I don't remember for sure what night it was, but usually it was during the night when they did show it. And a bunch of other smaller promotions. I don't know how I got distracted with that, but that's all for this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, episode 493. Thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. Hope everyone had a fantastic Friday. Hope everyone enjoyed WWE Friday Night Smackdown tonight, starring The Rock's return, and also AEW Rampage. Hope to be back tomorrow night with a new episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic discussing AEW Saturday Collision. Also, tomorrow morning, the Saturday episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans, where I will preview tomorrow night's episode of AEW Saturday Collision. Just a reminder, there is a new episode of 360 Anything Goes, episode 6. I talk about the Three Stooges short, Idiots Deluxe. Still not sure if I'm saying that right or not, but check that out. That's available right here on Spreaker, YouTube, or wherever else you can listen to podcasts. Also, remember, hashtag Ask360, the question of the week. Who is your favorite pro wrestler of all time? Simple question, just answer it. Just either here in the comments section on Spreaker, YouTube, or whichever podcast app you listen to on. Or go to Twitter, X, or I still don't know what to call it, at 360 Wrestling Pod, and use the hashtag Ask360 when you answer it, and you can email me your answer as well. 360 Wrestling Podcasts at gmail.com. Just whoever it is, could be a current superstar in WWE, AEW, and the independents, could be WCW, WWF, NWA, Japan, Mexico. Just any pro wrestler that is your favorite pro wrestler of all time. All you have to do is answer the question. It's not rocket scientist, or not rocket science, not brain science. People don't need... I'm going to try not to get upset like I did again the other night. But, so I better go, and I will talk to everyone tomorrow morning on the Saturday episode of GMWF. Have a great night, everyone, and until tomorrow morning, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.